I think one of the things when we think about the Manna Mercy and Justice grant that we didn't anticipate was we knew how much it was going to help the families in need in our community, but I had no idea how that generous gift was going to help spark an interest in our church body to think about how they can give, how we can better serve both our church, our community, and others as well. And so that gift is multiplied, but our community, but then our church body as well. And so I wanted to say thank you so much for the ways that your gifts and your generosity has served both, again, our community and our church. My name is Logan Mabe, and I pastor Ocean View Church in Chula Vista. A little bit about our story. 2 years ago, we stepped out of our church to plant a new campus in downtown Chula Vista. I'd been at our church for about 12 years, and an opportunity arose where a church with about 8 senior adults asked me to preach. So I did. One time turned into about 3 times, which turned into about 5 times, which ended with the request of, would you be our pastor and would your church help us to move into the future? And through a little bit of prayer, we decided to go for it. Since that time, our church is now about a church of about 120 people. And the really unique part of that story is that we're a very different expression than our other campus. We're a church in the middle of downtown Chula Vista, which has about 300,000 people and so many needs. When we walk out our front doors on Sunday morning, we walk down the stairs, onto the sidewalk, and right into the street. And God's doing so many incredible things in our city that we can't keep up. One of the things that we wanted to do when we started our church was to serve vulnerable kids and families. That wasn't on accident, but that was on purpose, because in 2010, my wife and I began a journey that would mark our lives forever, which we had no idea about, called foster care. We began this journey meeting with an organization, going to a meeting. God broke our hearts and we decided to say yes. Since 2010, we've fostered 12 kids, and our 3 oldest kids are all adopted through the foster care system. Beyond that, what I had no idea about is how God would continue to use that story in our lives and even the life of our church. When it came to us moving to Chula Vista and launching, we knew that we wanted to help families in need. Not just foster families, but kinship grandmothers who were taking on their grandkids. Brothers and sisters who've now said yes, who may have had incarcerated parents to say, we're going to take on my 14-year-old brother or my 12-year-old sister and be their guardians. But that comes with a lot of need. And when we were trying to figure out what we could do, we landed on this idea of a care closet. And there's so many different ideas for a care closet that can include basic essentials or clothes, but we wanted to meet the needs of our city in the best ways. And so we met with social workers and families and asked them, what do you need? And we landed on 3 items, and that was beds, car seats, and strollers. And for many of us, we think, what's the big deal? Anyone can buy a car seat, anyone can buy a bed, but most of the families that we serve are on fixed incomes. A lot of single minority grandmothers living under the poverty line, taking care of other family members, but now saying yes to 2 or 3 or 4 grandkids. And for us, every time we purchase a bed, it's not normally a single bed, it's a bunk bed. So 2 mattresses and a frame and bedding, most of which costs anywhere from $500 to $1,000 at bare minimum. So if you're a single grandmother on a fixed income, this is a huge task for you to take on. And the sad part of that story is, even though they're grandparents, they can't take these children in until they have these needs met. And so that's where we step in. We want to serve these families in crisis as quickly as possible, so that they might be able to have those kids in their home and they're not faced with the pressures of being in an emergency placement shelter or another home that's not their own or a family. And so we've been able to do that. We were blessed to receive the 2024 Manna grant. And with that, we've been able to provide more mattresses, more beds, more care to those families in need. I think one of the things that stands out to me the most is, as we're partnering with people, the word has spread. So our local church is being contacted by agencies, by people who have heard from a person and another person who's maybe been served, or an agency that we've talked to. And just a few weeks ago, there was a teen mom in an agency that we've been working with who was getting ready to have a brand new baby. And one of her big needs was a car seat. And so we were able to provide both a car seat and a new stroller for this new mom-to-be, so that she could best care for this little baby. And as a local church, we believe that The old adage is true. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so we want to serve the needs of the city in hopes that maybe we can share the gospel, but if they never come to our church, we believe that the Bible calls us to still do mercy and justice to these families and these people because it's what Christ has commanded us to do. And so we continue to see so many opportunities through our care closet. We meet other needs as they come available, but it's been such a joy to watch these families step in and our church rally around it to not only purchase a bed, but then deliver a bed, to pray for a family, to meet with a grandmother. And at its best, it's really cool when we see those grandparents and those kids show up to our events and show up to our services, and we're able to present the gospel and just love them like Jesus. So thank you so much for what you do and the way that you've poured into us and this year's grant. It's really making a difference both in our church life and the lives of others in our community. So one of my favorite stories about our care closet was not too long ago, we had a grandmother reach out about her grandson that she was caring for. They live in a studio apartment, they have limited space, and so she was asking for a bed. And of course that we wanted to meet that need, because especially anytime there's a child in need, we want to step in and serve those families. But what we found out through conversation and prayer was that she was also sleeping on a couch. And so our team was able to wrap around her and say, hey, can we purchase a bed for you as well? And I think that sometimes we forget about the caregivers as well. And so one of the things our care closet aims to do is not just help the kids that are in need, but if we can step in and serve in some way for the families in need. Maybe it's a mom or a dad or a grandparent or a brother or sister, because they're doing the hard work of caring for this grandchild. And if she's healthy and she's got a good bed, she's going to be able to provide better for her grandson that is much younger with a lot more energy in ways that's going to help him to grow and provide for him in ways that's going to lead better into their future. I want to say thank you for what you do, for your generosity. Your gifts have made a difference both in the life of our church, in our city, and in the families that we meet each and every day who have these needs that we get to meet through this grant.